What if I told you that the last thing you do before going to bed could be stealing your peace for the rest of the night? Have you ever wondered why some people fall asleep like babies at 70 while others lie there with their minds spinning in endless circles? Could the difference between a restful night and a restless dawn be in a single 30-second action that you repeat without suspecting the damage? You may have noticed how your body seems to forget to relax when the time comes. That stubborn tension that settles between your shoulders, as if you were carrying the weight of the entire day in an invisible backpack. Or that strange sensation that your heart beats at a different rate when it should be slowing down. It's not accelerated, but it's not calm either. It's as if it's confused. Your legs may feel restless even when you're exhausted, as if they want to go somewhere they don't even know where. And that breathing that never finds its point of complete satisfaction, as if you're always breathing almost enough, but never quite. The most frustrating thing is that you go to bed tired, wanting to rest, but your body seems to have forgotten the secret code to access that deep tranquility that used to come naturally. In so many cases I've followed, I found that a single, seemingly innocent habit, something 90% of seniors do without realizing it, acts like a switch that turns on the alarm system just when it should be turned off. It's shocking how eliminating this one action can bring back that sinking feeling of sleep that you thought you'd lost forever. If your nights have been a silent battle between tiredness and a restlessness you can't quite name, leave a yes in the comments. If you've been feeling tightness in your chest when you go to bed, or if your mind just won't slow down, know that these signs are not something to be ignored or simply attributed to age. Often, this constant restlessness and this fatigue that won't go away are warnings from your body, a way of telling you that something inside is out of balance. It's not a whim or a passing phase. It's a call to pay attention to what's going on inside you. This discomfort doesn't come out of nowhere. It's linked to a state of tension that builds up throughout the day, like a backpack that gets heavier and heavier. When night falls and silence takes over, this burden seems heavier, almost impossible to let go of. This feeling of deep restlessness, your racing heart, and shallow breathing are all manifestations of this process. It's as if your body is on alert, even when your mind wants to rest. This is the natural response to trapped emotions, unresolved concerns, or habits that keep this cycle active. Imagine your nervous system as an old radio. When it is working well, it tunes into the right stations, bringing harmony and peace. But sometimes it picks up interference, noises that disrupt the frequency and make it difficult to rest. This constant buzzing is the body's way of manifesting stress that has not been dissipated. Persistent tension acts like a live wire, causing sparks in the mind and body, preventing tranquility from returning naturally. The good news is that this internal alarm can be adjusted, this noise can be silenced. But to do so, it is first essential to recognize what is feeding this state, to understand what keeps this anguish alive in your body. And that is exactly what we will talk about in the next steps. If these words touched you, if you realized that you are not alone in this struggle, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Type 1 in the comments if you have already experienced this, or 5 if you still have doubts about the sensations you feel. We are on this journey together, and the path to serenity is closer than you think. When night falls, that weight on the chest and the restlessness seem to increase, as if the body could not find any peace. It is the sign that something inside is asking for attention, a subtle way of alerting us to what has been stored during the day. The body does not lie. It reveals, even if silently, the tensions that prevent us from relaxing. There is a simple gesture, which lasts only 30 seconds, that can initiate a change. A brief adjustment that brings an immediate feeling of lightness and relief, as if an internal knot begins to unravel, making room for rest. This small change may seem modest, but it is already a first step towards relieving the burden that weighs on the shoulders and the mind. Mental health experts with years of experience in caring for mature people point out that this conscious movement is effective in reducing accumulated tension and facilitating a gentler connection with the body. It is not a definitive solution, but an invitation to start slowing down, to welcome what is present without resistance. And you, have you tried any way to allow yourself this moment of pause? Write in the comments, "Today I choose to take care of myself." Sharing this decision strengthens the journey and shows that we are not alone in this search for peace of mind. By making this small adjustment, even if only for a short time, it is possible to notice a feeling of renewal, an opening that allows breathing to flow more calmly and the body to relax naturally. It is as if your skin itself becomes lighter, your mind quieter, your soul more serene. Imagine the reunion with your body as returning to the comfort of a hammock gently swaying in the wind, where each sigh is an invitation to relax, each moment a space to feel whole again. This is the beginning of a journey where balance reveals itself step by step in the delicate embrace between body and mind. You may begin to notice a subtle, almost imperceptible, but very significant change. Maybe you can fall asleep more easily without the fright that usually wakes you up in the middle of the night. Or perhaps, when you walk around the house, your steps seem firmer, your mind calmer, as if a light breeze has passed through your body, relieving some of the accumulated tension. This small transformation, even if subtle, is already a powerful sign that something is changing within you. When your body begins to respond, even if only gradually, it is a real reason to cultivate hope. Each gesture of listening and caring for yourself is an important step forward, especially when we respect the time we need to find balance again. Do not underestimate these initial responses. They are achievements that reflect the silent collaboration between mind and body, an invitation to move forward with kindness and patience. It is as if your body were saying in a soft whisper, "Thank you for welcoming me." This message symbolizes the partnership you are building with yourself, a bond that strengthens trust and makes room for true rest. This moment of reconnection is a delicate but firm step towards a more peaceful coexistence with your emotions and sensations. Now, I want to hear from you. Press 1 if you have already noticed some improvement, even if small, or 5 if you think you are still at the beginning of this journey. Sharing your experience helps to create a space of support and understanding for all of us. If this content touched your heart and brought a little more clarity about your path, subscribe to the channel. Each week, we walk together, exchanging care and hope. Your participation is essential for this welcome to reach more people who are also seeking a little more peace. As we move forward, imagine your body as a hammock in the wind, which gradually adjusts, opens, and sways gently. This serene movement leads us to the next step, where we will explore how to intensify this lightness and strengthen the serenity that begins to blossom within you. When night falls, many seniors find themselves stuck in a routine that seems harmless, but that could be undermining the peace they so desire before falling asleep. It is common after dinner to want to find some quick distraction, whether it be on the television, on the cell phone, or even reading under the bright light of a lamp. These small habits, although they may seem simple, can turn the moment of rest into a cycle of restlessness that is difficult to break. Instead of preparing the body to relax, these silent choices feed a state of alertness that goes unnoticed, but which has a direct impact on anxiety. A very common, almost invisible mistake is using electronic devices shortly before going to bed. The blue light emitted by these devices interferes with the body's natural rhythm, confusing the internal clock and hindering the release of hormones that signal it is time to rest. Imagine the brain as a conductor directing an orchestra. The bright light is like an unexpected noise that disrupts concentration, keeping the body in a state of constant wakefulness, even when the eyes are closed. For those who are already dealing with the emotional fragility of aging, this wear and tear can silently accumulate, increasing the feeling of tension and making it difficult to mentally disconnect. This interference in the sleep cycle is not just a passing inconvenience. It raises levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, putting the body on high alert, as if something important is always about to happen. This constant activation can generate real and uncomfortable symptoms. Waking up confused, feeling your heart racing at the slightest noise, noticing a pressure in your chest that was never there during the day. These signs are often interpreted as a natural part of aging, when in fact they are clear signs of a silent overload. It is important to recognize that this situation is not the result of weakness or carelessness, but of little-noticed habits that become ingrained in the daily routine. Almost no one has been taught to identify these triggers in their own lives, which is why the feeling of persistent fatigue and difficulty relaxing are so common. The body seems to speak in a subtle language that many cannot decipher until the discomfort becomes too obvious to ignore. What if this restlessness that invades the nights was not just the wear and tear of age, but the reflection of small, invisible agreements that the body tries to maintain, even against its will? This silent restlessness could be the key to understanding what really happens when rest always seems to escape. You wake up feeling lighter in your chest, your breathing less pent up. It feels like the weight has lifted. But is the restlessness really gone forever? This momentary relief does not represent a definitive end. It is like walking on a calm surface which hides invisible cracks beneath the earth. The feeling of peace can be deceiving because the internal challenges are still present. They just haven't manifested themselves at that moment. In cases of anxiety, the body oscillates between states of alert and calm. The nervous system, sensitive to old and recent stimuli, can silence the signals for a time. But cortisol, the rhythm of breathing and stored emotions, continue to influence the body, creating cycles where tension reappears, sometimes without warning. It is common to feel frustrated when peace seems to slip away after a brief moment of respite. This does not mean that you have failed or that the progress was in vain. In reality, your body is learning to trust again, but it needs repetition and patience, not immediate results or perfection. Each setback is an opportunity to adjust the path, not a sign of defeat. The journey to calm the mind and body requires consistency, daily care that builds a firmer foundation even if the ups and downs persist. Sometimes, the silence of anxiety does not indicate a definitive cure. It is simply the space to look more closely, to welcome what still needs to be taken care of before the restlessness returns. Even when it seems like progress is being made, many older adults maintain an invisible pattern that hinders the full recovery of emotional and physical balance. A common behavior is the constant attempt to control thoughts before going to sleep, mentally replaying worries or organizing the next day. Although it may seem harmless, this practice silently activates the mind, preventing the body from slowing down. Clinically, this pattern keeps the nervous system in a state of alert, hindering the natural transition to rest. Anxiety does not disappear. It hides behind this mental routine, as if the brain were trying to solve problems that, in fact, have no immediate solution. Thus, the body remains tense, blocking the regeneration necessary during sleep. Imagine the body as a plant that needs silence and shade to flourish. If at all times you expose this plant to intense light and noise, even if it is soft light, it will not be able to grow fully. This constant light represents the repetitive thoughts before going to sleep, a subtle but crucial interference that prevents the nourishment of rest. It is natural to feel fear or guilt for not being able to turn off the mind. This feeling of helplessness often reinforces the pattern, like a cycle that feeds on self-doubt. Don't beat yourself up about it. The body and mind have learned to protect themselves, trying to maintain control in the face of life's uncertainties. However, this protection now requires a new, gentler, more conscious form of care. What if this need for control were actually an invitation to discover how to allow the body to trust its natural rhythm? Is it possible to transform this invisible pattern into a silent ally capable of guiding us toward deeper recovery? In the next step, we will explore how this change can begin to happen, Slowly, with respect and attention, improvement begins to manifest itself, bringing the expected relief. However, it is precisely at this moment that many people allow themselves to be carried away by premature confidence, making room for the return of internal tensions. This feeling of well-being can encourage a reduction in vigilance regarding one's own signals, as if the body and mind had already fully recovered. It is common to return to old patterns without realizing that stability is still delicate. Imagine coming out of a cold and then exposing yourself to the cold wind. Although the symptoms have diminished, the natural protection has not yet been reestablished, and the body remains vulnerable. It is normal to feel frustrated when, after a period of improvement, restlessness returns, seeming like an unexpected fall. This reaction does not indicate failure, but rather a natural phase of the adjustment process. The momentary absence of the body's silent message does not equate to a definitive green light. On the contrary, it is an invitation to reinforce attention and maintain a constant posture. Your nervous system is signaling a gap, and the choices you make now will determine the quality of the coming days. Therefore, it is essential to cultivate an active prevention mentality, seeing this moment of tranquility as an opportunity to strengthen emotional stability. Think of a wound that appears to have healed. The surface is intact, but a bandage still protects a sensitive area, preventing old trauma from reopening. Thus, ongoing care acts as this protection, supporting recovery and preventing negative emotional patterns from returning. It is in this tenuous space between apparent balance and vulnerability that the real difference between a temporary improvement and a solid recovery begins to emerge. Awareness of this moment is what will allow us to move forward safely on the journey towards calmer nights and a more serene mind. You have decided to listen to what many people overlook, what the mind and body whisper before fatigue becomes unbearable. This journey you have embarked on is already a victory, a step towards transforming restless nights into moments of peace. Think of restlessness at night as a light flashing on your dashboard. This silent discomfort is not a punishment, but a gentle warning, an invitation to adjust your pace and take care of what needs to be addressed. Emotional pressure works like a bell. It does not ring to scare you, but to draw your attention to something that deserves to be reorganized with care. On days when discomfort does not appear, it is essential to act with awareness and lightness. What you do in these quiet hours is what strengthens your serenity for difficult moments. Cultivating gentle and preventive habits, such as breathing deeply, slowing down your mind, and respecting your time, creates fertile ground for well-being to flourish. Share the word calm in the comments if you feel that you are ready to welcome this new phase gently. And to better understand your experience, press 1 if you have noticed that these emotions are trying to guide you, or 5 if you still feel that they are preventing you from moving forward. Sometimes, a simple gesture, a careful look inside, is enough for the whole body to trust its own rhythm again. Continuous care is the bridge that leads from restlessness to true rest. You may have come this far carrying restless nights and a tired heart, feeling trapped in a cycle that seemed to have no end. Now, your gaze has opened to something new, a deeper listening, a gentle invitation to take care of yourself with more presence and tenderness. The relief you seek does not lie in ready-made formulas, but in reconnecting with your own body, which speaks silently every day, waiting to be heard. There is no true transformation without this attentive companionship, without the partnership between mind and body that grows with patience and respect. Your body does not demand miracles, only your sincere attention. It wants you to feel, to slow down, to recognize emotions as messengers, not enemies. Each conscious breath, each moment dedicated to its rhythm, is a gesture of love that strengthens serenity and balance. This constant care is like watering a delicate seed that, over time, blossoms into calm and well-being. Now imagine that your body is an ancient tree that lost its leaves in the storm, but that maintains firm and deep roots. Even after the darkest night, spring always arrives, bringing green and renewed leaves. Just like this tree, you too can be reborn each night, finding the space to grow and flourish in stillness. Your body knows when it is ready for this new beginning. You just have to listen to it with an open heart. If these words touched you, share them with someone who also needs to feel this peace that comes from listening and caring. And if you want to continue walking this process of reconnection, sign up. Here, each space is a safe haven where you will never be alone.